Not close enough into the centers, but Reto Poster is an opportunity. He tries to block the inside. There's just a card's width. We tried to use that one. Hello everybody and welcome to the Sim Racing Time Machine. My name is Robin and I recreate historic racing seasons in Automobilista 2 here. And as always, I let you vote between 4 different Formula 1 seasons, and by a very slim margin, 1994 was the winner of the last vote. Now, to you Formula 1 fans out there, this season needs no introduction, as it was one of the darkest seasons in all of Formula 1 history because of the deaths of Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger at the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix. This season shall be a tribute to these two great drivers who unfortunately had their careers cut short on that fateful weekend at Imola. We will see them compete the full season here in Automobilista 2 in this season that we will do on this channel, the way it should have always been, if not for some very short-term technical regulation changes ahead of the 94 season and outdated safety measures at the Imola circuit. Now, to make 1994 the great season it should have always been, with Senna at the peak of his ability, fighting it out with the young and upcoming hotshot that was Michael Schumacher, in this alternative universe, there is a bit of a different rule set in place here. The FIA has mandated a specific car design to improve the safety of those cars, with the banning of any driver aids that were still legal in 1993. Unfortunately, that limited car designers a little bit, so you will only see low noses that season, so especially the Benetton will look very different to what it actually looked like in 1994. While that may not have been the most popular choice in the eyes of the fans, the FIA still has put some goodies in for them, as well as the use of V12 engine technology is mandated for every team. Rumour has it that FIA boss Max Mosley was seen talking to a time-travelling future 4-time Formula 1 world champion from Germany, who persuaded him to bring back the V12s. Now, all of those rules and limitations were definitely done by Max Mosley, and not because there is just one car model in Amos 2 for that era of F1, and I won't let anyone tell me otherwise. Now, in this alternative and probably brighter timeline, who will I be competing as? Well, between the tragedies mentioned earlier and the controversy surrounding Michael Schumacher's first championship success, there was another story that was almost forgotten amidst all of this. 1994 was also the Swansong of one of the greatest and most influential teams in Formula 1 history, as that was the original Team Lotus last year in the sport. They finished the season non-classified, failing to score a single point all season, but coming close on multiple occasions, finishing an unfortunate 7th on 3 separate races. One of their many drivers that year was Alessandro Zanardi, who never really clicked on in Formula 1, even though he did prove his abilities as a driver, winning back-to-back car championships in 1997 and 1998. So we're getting justice for 2 in this series. Once for Lotus, trying to give them a nice send-off in their final year, while getting Zanardi a bit of success in Formula 1, as our target is to make Lotus finish in the top 5 of the Constructors' Championship, which should be best of the rest behind Williams, Benetton, McLaren and Ferrari, as well as score at least 1 podium on our way there for Zanardi. Quick shout out there to Mungo Park, who made the skin pack for these cars. Link to the resource is in the description. The helmets and driver suits are taken from the 1995 and 1993 seasons of the Immersion modding group, respectively. Links are also in the description. So, as usually the case in that era, the season opener took place at the circuit José Carlos Pache in Brazil, where we are going to race today. That race in real life was won by Michael Schumacher, while Senna, who was chasing him down on their last stint, spun out doing so, resulting in a DNF in what would be his last home race. Zanardi did not compete in this one yet, as Pedro Lamy was still occupying his seat at Lotus before Zanardi replaced him from round 5 onwards. Now, as we look at the starting grid, that means we will be starting the race from where Lamy qualified that dog over the car, and I doubt you will ever see us on that first page of the starting grid, as we will go into this race from P24 out of 26, so pretty much every race this year will be a battle through the field. But you know, after running at the top throughout our 1999 season, it will be a nice change of pace to battle in the lower tiers of Formula 1 in the 90s this season. So now, finally, and without further ado, let's start the 1994 F1 season in Automobilista 2. And here we are, waiting for the lights to go out at Brazil. And they do so now, and we get off the line well, which can't be said for the LaRousse ahead of us, and many other cars there ahead of us. There is the Ligier of Eric Bernard going away very slowly. Into the Senna S we go, and we're already up 9 positions. We gained 9 spots before arriving at the first turn. This is quite incredible. Very poor starts for some guys there, and we avoid all of that and make it through cleanly. Now on the retro poster we go. We have a little look around the outside of Karl Wendlinger's Sauber Mercedes, but we have to stay behind for the moment. Let's try and make up some more ground on that first lap, as well this could already be a nice result. I'm lacking a bit of good results here at Interlagos lately, because I don't know, usually it's the first race of the season and we do quite well, but then something goes wrong because we're not quite used to these cars as we dive down the inside of Wendlinger. Well, oh, he's still there actually. But now, already towards the end of the first lap, we are through up to P14. But as I was saying, this is a chance to get a good result. Finally at Interlagos. Now you could say in our Frentzen season we finished 4th here, which could be considered as a good result, but well, given that we should have been on the podium at least, probably even won that race, P4 doesn't look as good anymore, as we have to defend a bit from Karl Wendlinger as we start lap 2. And from defending through the first sector, we are back to attacking. Though Wendlinger is still there, we are now just behind the Jordan of Eddie Irvine. Irvine we know quite well from our 1999 season. This is a bit earlier now, with the Irishman still competing at Jordan. Jordan, who found their way back to form in 1994, round the outside of the Senna as we try to go. Don't quite make it. Yeah, 1991, the first year of Jordan, very successful year for them. Good amount of points scored by them as we try to go around the outside of Irvine, and we do just that. No, we're still side by side. Oh, and this is an unusual spot to make a move, but we set that one up nicely and we are past Irvine. And now to finally finish that point I wanted to make about Jordan. 1991 debut year was fantastic. 1992 and 1993 a bit disappointing for Eddie Jordan's team, but 94, especially with Barrichello, that was when they found back their form that they already had in 1991. Well, it has taken us a bit of time to catch up to the next two cars, which is yet another Sauber, and in that Sauber sits a driver that we know very, very well, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, in his debut year in 1994. Well, he is trying to attack Olivier Panis in the Ligier. Ooh, and we take that to our advantage as we move past the German, up to 12th already. And now we are trailing the Ligier. Full French outfit in 1994. Olivier Panis and Eric Bernard, their drivers. Both Frenchmen. Ligier, of course, French team. Renault engines, also French. Not close enough into the Sennas, but Reto Posta is an opportunity. He tries to block the inside. There's just a car's width. We tried to use that one. Oh, almost run wide. Go on the curb. And that is Panis through again. In my mirrors, I'm currently searching for Frentzen, but he's nowhere to be seen. He has lost quite a bit on that last lap. Before, he was just battling with Panis. Now there is a gap between the two of us and Frentzen. Now again, middle sector. This is not really where you will make any moves around the Interlagos circuit, but the next corner. This is the most crucial one probably of the track, because from here on it is all flat out running towards the best overtaking opportunity, and we did not get a great exit, so Panis might actually be able to hang on to that P11 one lap longer. Our pace is very, very good so far, but here we are losing quite some time because we are kind of stuck behind that Ligier. Another opportunity may be here. Reto or Posta also. You can try to make a move here. We did try so a lap earlier, but you have to be very, very, very close. And we are just not there this lap. Defends a bit the inside there, but there was just no chance for us to meaningfully get alongside him. So we're just having a look around the outside, and now again we are stuck. And this is especially frustrating as we see the group of cars ahead. They're just running away from us. And in that group are Jos Verstappen in the Benetton, Mark Blondel and Martin Brundle. So this is the three cars ahead of Olivier Panis, but to get to them we first need to make a move on that Ligier, and we do just that. We have the outside line for the first corner, but that first corner is a chicane, so even if the Ligier has the inside, that inside turns the outside, so we have the more desirable line, though we have the longer way for this one, and we're still side by side on the Reto Posta. Oh gee, Interlagos is just such a great track for racing. pan his backs out. Again, we run a bit wide, but this time we make it stick. And we are finally up to P11. So, let's try and hunt that group down that I introduced earlier. Yeah. Gap to them. What is that? 3, 4, 5 seconds maybe. And that hasn't changed much, but lapped traffic was becoming an issue. And especially, I think that was Brabham becoming an issue for Martin Brundle in the McLaren. So, the McLaren tangling with the Simtech there. So that is another spot gained for us, and we gained a lot on the other two cars in that battle. So, Verstappen and Blundel's Tyrrell are now just ahead of us as that LaRousse almost slams the door on us despite being a lap down. That is quite the feisty battle that they are having there. So, Verstappen, around the outside we try to go. Oh, we don't manage to get the move done. On to the Reto Oposta. Can we get past father of full-time world champion Max Verstappen? Full-time world champion as of the date that I'm commentating on this. There is still a very small chance that Max may actually take the championship. Today's date is the 12th of November. So, who knows? You definitely do know more than I do at the present moment. But what I do know at the present moment is that, again, as we're getting close to the pit stop phase here, we are again in a fight for position, and we might be 8th if we get past these two, just 2 spots away from a point scoring position, as it was the case in the 1999 season. Top 6 score points, and refueling is allowed and necessary, as the fuel load will not be enough, or the tanks are not big enough to have us finish the race on just 1 tank of fuel, as we are now very close to Blundell. Alongside the Tyrrell we go, and we are not passed. Well done there by Blundell to hang on round the outside there. And again, that means we are stuck for another lap. 1994, also refueling was reintroduced. It has been absent from Formula 1 for a very long time. I think the last season where refueling was allowed before that one was 1983. So between then and the 94 season, refueling was not allowed. You had to make it on 1 tank of fuel. So that was one of the many rule changes ahead of 94. I already mentioned the banning of all driving aids that had become so present in Formula 1 in 1992 and 1993. The high-tech eras of Formula 1, if you will. In some ways, the cars were more advanced technically than the ones they drive today, to the point where it was actually getting ridiculous. Pretty much automatic gearboxes, traction control, ABS, launch control, active suspension. Essentially, the driver was accelerating and braking and steering. That was it. So, yeah, 1994. This was all banned. Well, and as I am rambling on about 1994 Formula 1 regulations and letting you listen to the sound of these V12 engines, that battle ahead of us has been raging on, and I've been enjoying watching it. But now it is time to get involved myself, as again, alongside that Tyrrell, we have the outside line again. That will remain the outside line for the next corner that is coming up, but Jos Verstappen is giving us a good slipstream, and that just pulls us past the Tyrrell with the number 4. That still hasn't given up. But we should be safe for now. And hopefully we can focus on the Dutchman ahead of us. But yeah, as we are watching that Benetton go around the middle sector here, the thing is that our pit stop was getting closer and closer. We will have to stop at the end of next lap. So yeah, quite well past the halfway point we are now. Jos Verstappen has already come in now, and this is a good advantage that we have. Yeah, with strategy nothing pretty much has changed to the 1999 season that we did before on this channel. So again, you had the advantage when you were stopping later, because now we are running with a very, very light car. Jos Verstappen and also Marc Blondel, in fact, will have a very heavy car as soon as they make their way out of the pits. So that is an advantage for us. We can now use that clear air with a nimble, light and fast car before we have to put in some fuel. And also we need to put a bit less fuel, 1 lap less fuel in it to make it to the end. So this is very good news, and that might see us move up to P8. Of course, this depends on other cars pitting or not pitting, but I think everybody should have come in for a stop this lap, last lap, or the next one indeed, because we all have the same fuel capacity. And in we go. That is a very, very conservative pit entry from me. Still, I get very close to the wall on the inside. We stop on the marks, and our pit crew goes to work, so now we have to wait and see. We are already dropping down to P8. This is, of course, where we would be if we come out ahead of Verstappen. And this is actually looking good. We're still 8th. We can disable the pit limiter here, and we are just behind someone, but we are 8th. Cool, okay, we jumped Verstappen in the pit lane, which is very good news. And now ahead of us, there are 2 cars, of which I'm not sure whether we are actually racing them or not. They are very slow, apparently. One of them is a LaRousse, one is a Sauber. So I guess we are lapping them. Yeah, we definitely are. This is Frentzen. We already passed him earlier, but something must have happened to Frentzen somewhere, because he is now a lap down. And sorry, that is not LaRousse. This is actually a Minardi. This is Pierluigi Martini. Oh, lovely. Look at that. Oh, we just lapped the last 2 drivers we were competing as on this channel. Pierluigi Martini was the driver we chose for 1991. And Frentzen was the driver we just made a Formula 1 World Champion in 1999. Well, and actually, that second stint was super, super disappointing. We lapped a few more cars, but nothing more happened. So we stayed in 8th. It was just about bring it home, and I did so. So I guess, considering that we started P24, and we are in a dreadful Lotus, that can be considered a good result in Interlagos, I guess. Well, and let's look at the point scorers of today. Michael Schumacher wins this race from pole. Senna finishes second, 7 seconds down. Hill makes it a double Williams podium in third. And then it is Berger, Häkkinen and Alesi completing the point scoring positions. Well, and I don't need to tell you, after race 1, the Drivers' Championship is exactly like the race results of that race. More interesting, though, is the Constructors' Championship, where Benetton is equal on points, with Williams leading on countback because they have more race wins, which is 1 after 1 race. Ferrari then in third with their double points finish, and Häkkinen's 2 points put McLaren to fourth. Tough luck for Rubens Barrichello, who finished 7th in the Jordan. And then, of course, we put Lotus on the page here with our P8 finish, still on 0 points. But, yeah, the second highest finish of those teams that haven't scored yet. And that has been it with round 1 of our 1994 Formula 1 World Championship in Automobilista 2. And the next race will be the race that was so dark in real life, as we will be going racing at Imola for the San Marino Grand Prix. Subscribe to not miss that, leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.